Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, I want you to imagine something, a version of yourself you know you're capable of becoming, yet haven't met not yet. Now, here's the real question. What stands between you and that version of yourself? Most people believe it's motivation. They think they need more inspiration, more energy, more excitement. But if feeling motivated was all it took, everyone would be living their dream life already. So stay with me till the end of this speech, because today I'm going to show you something far more powerful. The force that will carry you through every season of your life long after motivation disappears. And once you understand it, you'll never look at success the same way again. The truth about motivation is wonderful, it lights the fire. But the problem is motivation burns out just as fast as it ignites. You watch a video, hear a quote, read a book, and for a moment you feel unstoppable. But then Monday morning comes. The alarm rings, the bed feels warm, the world feels heavy, and suddenly motivation is nowhere to be found. Why? Because motivation is a feeling and feelings change. The power of discipline. Discipline, on the other hand, is not emotional. It's not loud, it's not exciting, but it is reliable. Discipline says, I will show up whether I feel like it or not. I will do what's required, not just what's convenient. I will live by standards, not moods. And that is the foundation of every success story you admire. Motivation starts the race, discipline finish it. Motivation will help you run the first lap, but discipline will help you run the last. Motivation says, let's begin. Discipline says, let's continue. If you rely only on motivation, you'll quit every time life becomes uncomfortable. But when discipline becomes your companion, hardship becomes a stepping stone instead of a stopping point. The secret daily discipline, success is not one big event. It's not one breakthrough moment. It is a result of small disciplines repeated daily. A few pages read, a short workout completed. A small savings deposited, a step toward your dream taken every day. When you combine those small disciplines, you build momentum, and momentum becomes the greatest motivation of all. Conclusion, the life-changing exchange. So here's the challenge for you today. Trade your reliance on motivation for the mastery of discipline. When you do, you'll stop waiting for the perfect moment. You'll stop negotiating with your excuses. You'll stop hoping for change and start creating it. Motivation may spark the flame, but discipline keeps the fire burning long enough to light up your entire life. Motivation is one of the most misunderstood forces in personal development. People treat it as if it is the key that unlocks every door to success, but in reality, motivation is more like a spark. It burns bright, it burns fast, and then it disappears. It may give you enough energy to start something, but almost never enough strength to finish it. That is why so many dreams begin with enthusiasm but end with excuses. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you felt excited to start a new habit, a diet, a gym routine, a learning journey, a business idea, only to lose steam after a few days? You didn't suddenly become less capable. You didn't lose intelligence or talent. What you lost was motivation. And when motivation left, your progress left with it. Why? Because motivation is emotional, and emotions shift with the weather of your life. One day you feel powerful and ready. The next day you feel tired, stressed, distracted, or uninspired. Motivation depends on how you feel, and feelings are unreliable. That means any life built on motivation alone will be unstable, strong today, collapsing tomorrow. Discipline, however, is a different force entirely. Discipline does not rely on emotion. Discipline does not wait for the perfect moment. Discipline does not check your mood before it acts. It is rooted in decision, not feeling. It is rooted in commitment, not excitement. Where motivation whispers, let's go when you feel ready, discipline says, go, especially when you don't feel ready. Motivation can inspire you to buy a book. Discipline makes you read it. Motivation can get you inside a gym. Discipline keeps you there consistently. Motivation can make you dream. Discipline turns that dream into reality. The truth is blunt but liberating. Your life changes the moment your actions stop depending on your feelings. That is the point where discipline takes over. That is the moment transformation begins. Another difference is longevity. Motivation is temporary, it comes and goes. Discipline is permanent because discipline can be practiced daily. You don't have to wait for discipline to show up. You create it, you strengthen it, you shape it like a muscle. And the more you practice discipline, the stronger it becomes until it eventually becomes part of your identity. Imagine what happens when discipline becomes who you are instead of something you occasionally try. You don't simply do disciplined actions, you become a disciplined person. You become someone who follows through, someone who stays consistent, someone who finishes what they start, someone whose progress is predictable because it no longer depends on mood, weather, or circumstance. There is another powerful truth hidden inside this. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the engine. Without the spark, the engine never starts. But without the engine, the spark is useless. That is why we respect disciplined individuals. They are not relying on fleeting emotions. They are relying on a system of habits that they built intentionally. When you rely on discipline, you no longer need to chase motivation. Instead, motivation begins to chase you. Progress generates momentum. Momentum generates confidence. Confidence generates motivation. So discipline becomes the source of motivation, not the other way around. In short, motivation is what gets you started, but discipline is what keeps you moving, growing, and ultimately succeeding. One burns out, the other builds up. One fades, the other forms the foundation of greatness. When you learn to value discipline over motivation, you unlock the power to create a life that does not rise and fall with your emotions, but stands firm on the choices you make every day. There is a universal truth that successful people understand early, and unsuccessful people often learn too late. Your future is not created by one big decision. It is created by your daily habits. The small things you do repeatedly carry far more power than the large things you do occasionally. In fact, your habits act like the silent architects of your life. They work in the background, shaping your direction, your results, and eventually your destiny. Most people think their future will change when they finally get a breakthrough, when they get the right opportunity, meet the right person, receive the right idea, or find the right moment. But in reality, destiny doesn't arrive in a single moment. It is built slowly through consistent patterns of behavior. If your habits are weak, your results will be weak. If your habits are strong, your results will follow. Your habits are like seeds. Every action you repeat is planted into the soil of your future. Some seeds grow into confidence, discipline, success, and prosperity. Others grow into regret, stagnation, frustration, and missed potential. But here's the key: you are planting seeds every day, whether you're aware of it or not. Think about your day-to-day life. The time you wake up, the foods you choose, the thoughts you entertain, the work you prioritize, the conversations you engage in, the way you handle stress, the decisions you avoid or confront. These are not random habits. These are the building blocks of your future. They determine your energy, your mindset, your productivity, your confidence, and even the opportunities that come your way. If someone wants to understand where their life is heading, they don't need to look at their dreams. They need to look at their habits. Now, here's the beautiful part: habits compound. Just like money multiplies through interest, habits multiply through repetition. One jog won't make you fit, but jogging every morning will. Reading one page won't change your mind, but reading daily will. Saving a small amount won't make you wealthy, but saving consistently will. Good habits create a chain of positive consequences. Bad habits create a chain of negative consequences. Either way, the chain continues to grow. The tricky part is that habits are often invisible. You don't notice the damage of a bad habit right away. Missing one workout doesn't destroy your health. Spending a little extra doesn't ruin your finances. Staying up late once doesn't affect your life drastically. But repetition does. Patterns do. Consistency does. Your destiny is shaped slowly, quietly, and steadily by what you choose to repeat. That's why successful people protect their habits like treasure. They know that habits are the daily votes you cast for the person you want to become. Each day, your habits are asking you a question: or are you casting votes for your future or against it? The answer appears in your actions, not your intentions. Another powerful truth is this: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. A goal can inspire you, but only habits can deliver results. Goals give direction, habits give progress. Goals are about the future, habits are about today. You can set the biggest goal in the world, but if your habits don't support it, you'll never reach it. So if you want to change your destiny, start by changing your habits. Begin with one small disciplined action. Repeat it, strengthen it, add another. Build a routine that supports the life you want to create. In the end, your destiny is not a matter of luck or chance. It is a matter of habit. Your habits either build your future or break it. And the moment you decide to shape your habits intentionally is the moment you take control of your destiny. One of the greatest discoveries a person can make is realizing that emotions cannot be trusted as the foundation of a meaningful, successful, or disciplined life. Emotions are powerful, yes, but they are also unpredictable. They rise, they fall, they shift with circumstances, with fatigue, with weather, with stress, with mood, with environment. If your actions are controlled by your emotions, then your life will constantly feel like a roller coaster, up one day, down the next, productive this week, unproductive the next. That kind of inconsistency destroys progress. It destroys momentum. It destroys confidence. And most importantly, it destroys potential. Your emotions may tell you, I don't feel like working today. But your standards say, I work because it matters. Your emotions say, I'm tired, I'll skip the gym. But your standards say, I take care of my body no matter what. Your emotions say, let's procrastinate, we have time. But your standards say, we move now. Emotions fluctuate. Standards anchor you. Why emotions cannot be trusted. Imagine if a pilot flew only when they felt like it. Imagine if a surgeon operated only when they were on the mood odd. Imagine if a parent cared for their child only on good days. Ridiculous, right? Yet many people treat their own goals, dreams, and responsibilities that way. They wait for the right feeling before they take the right action. The problem is your feelings are not designed to lead, you are. Emotions are meant to be signals, not leaders. Signals can guide you, warn you, inform you, but not control you. When emotions drive your life, discipline disappears. And when discipline disappears, results disappear too. The power of standards. Standards are different. Standards are steady. Standards are deliberate. Standards are chosen, not felt. Standards are the commitments you make to yourself about the kind of life you want to live and the kind of person you want to become. Standards don't change because you're tired. Standards don't adjust because you're stressed. Standards don't rewrite themselves because you're having a lazy day. Standards say, this is what I expect from myself every day. Where emotions fluctuate. Standards stay firm. Where emotions are momentary, standards are long-term. Where emotions weaken you, standards strengthen you. Your standards determine your self-respect. There's a powerful truth here. You can't feel proud of yourself if you break your own standards. Whenever you say you'll do something and you don't, your self-respect drops. Whenever you choose comfort over commitment, your confidence drops. Whenever you let emotions override your principles, your belief in yourself weakens. But when you act according to your standards, even on days when you don't feel like it, your self-respect grows, your confidence strengthens, and your identity evolves into someone reliable, disciplined, and trustworthy. Consistency comes from standards, not emotions. People always ask, how do I become more consistent? The answer is simple. Stop basing your actions on emotions. Start basing them on standards. Consistency is not about feeling good all the time. Consistency is about acting according to what you've decided is important, especially when emotions disagree. Standards create freedom. Most people think standards restrict them. In truth, standards set you free, free from procrastination, free from regret, free from inconsistency, free from disappointment, free from the trap of waiting to feel ready. When you live by standards, you don't ask, do I feel like it? You ask, is it aligned with who I want to be? That shift alone can transform your entire life. Final thought, your emotions are like the weather, always changing. Your standards are like the climate, long-term, stable, and predictable. Build your life on emotions and you get chaos. Build your life on standards and you get progress, purpose, and power. That is why the most successful people are not emotionally driven, they are standard driven. One of the greatest misconceptions about success is the belief that it requires massive, dramatic actions. People imagine that achieving greatness means making huge sacrifices, taking giant leaps, or having extraordinary talent, but in reality, success is rarely the result of one enormous effort. Instead, it is built through small disciplines practiced consistently over time. These small disciplines are easy to ignore because they don't look powerful in the moment. Reading a few pages seems insignificant. Saving a small amount feels trivial. Walking for 10 minutes looks unimportant. Writing one paragraph appears too small to matter. But that is the magic of small disciplines. They don't feel big, but they become big through repetition. Think of a drop of water falling onto a stone. One drop does nothing. 10 drops do nothing. 1,000 drops may not show any difference. But over time, the stone begins to change shape. Not because one drop was powerful, because the drops never stopped coming. Your success works the same way. Small, consistent actions eventually carve out massive transformation. The compounding power of small actions. Success grows the same way money grows, through compound interest. A small investment grows slowly at first, almost invisible. But as time passes, the growth accelerates because each new gain builds on the ones before it. Small disciplines compound exactly like that. A short daily workout compounds into strength, energy, confidence, and better health. A few minutes of reading compounds into knowledge, perspective, and improved thinking. Consistently practicing a skill compounds into mastery. Small, consistent savings compound into financial security and wealth. The compounding effect is slow at the beginning, and that's why most people quit. They don't see the results fast enough. They get discouraged because they underestimate the long-term power of small habits. They want big results instantly, and when those results don't appear, they assume their efforts aren't working. They stop right before the compounding effect begins to show its power. Why small disciplines matter more than big efforts. Big efforts require big motivation. Small disciplines require only small decisions. You don't need to be in the perfect emotional state to practice small disciplines. You don't need extraordinary courage or massive energy. You simply need to make a small choice today, then tomorrow, then the next day. These choices shape your routine. Your routine shapes your habits. Your habits shape your identity. And your identity shapes your destiny. Small disciplines are sustainable. They fit into daily life. They build stability rather than burnout. They turn effort into lifestyle. Small disciplines change who you become. There is something even more powerful than the results of small disciplines, the person you become by practicing them. When you commit to small disciplines, you become more reliable, you become more resilient, you become more confident, you become more focused, you become someone who follows through. Every time you keep a small promise to yourself, you strengthen your self-belief. You start to trust yourself. You start to see yourself as someone who is capable of change, capable of consistency, capable of success. This inner transformation is far more important than the outer results, because the person you become is the person who will achieve the big results later. Small disciplines build momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in progress. It turns effort into ease. It turns beginnings into breakthroughs. Momentum doesn't come from doing something big once. It comes from doing something small repeatedly. Once you build momentum, progress becomes faster, smoother, and more enjoyable. Small disciplines create momentum. Momentum creates motivation. Motivation creates even more discipline. And the cycle continues. Final truth, greatness is not built in a day. It is built daily. Small disciplines are not small in their impact. They are small only in the moment. Over time, they grow, multiply, and create results that look impossible to anyone who underestimated the power of consistency. Small disciplines practiced daily lead to big victories, big transformations, and a future much bigger than your present. Most people chase motivation because it feels good. Motivation is exciting. It's inspiring. It sparks hope, energy, and enthusiasm. When you feel motivated, the world looks brighter, the tasks seem lighter, and you imagine yourself achieving great things. Motivation is like the spark that ignites a fire. It gives you a rush, a sense that anything is possible. But here's the truth that most people overlook: motivation is temporary. It fades, it fluctuates, it disappears the moment life gets hard, distractions appear, or emotions turn sour. Feeling inspired is wonderful, but it cannot sustain results. Motivation is a visitor. It comes and goes. You can't build a life on it alone. Discipline, on the other hand, works differently. Discipline may not be thrilling. It may not give you a rush of energy, but it delivers results that last. Discipline is about showing up, doing what's necessary, and following through, whether you feel like it or not. It is not dependent on emotion. It is dependent on commitment. The difference between excitement and achievement, think of it like this. Motivation feeds your desire to act, while discipline feeds your ability to achieve. Motivation excites you about the possibilities, but discipline ensures you reach them. Excitement may get you started, but achievement is born from consistent effort, repeated action, and adherence to your standards. For example, motivation may get you to the gym once, but discipline gets you there day after day, week after week, even when you don't feel like it. Motivation may make you start reading a book, but discipline ensures you finish it and apply what you learn. Motivation may inspire you to start a business, but discipline is what makes it profitable, sustainable, and impactful. Excitement feels good in the moment. Achievement feels good for a lifetime. Why discipline always wins in the long run? The reality is that life is filled with challenges, setbacks, distractions. There will be days when motivation is gone, when inspiration feels impossible, when the world seems heavy. On those days, discipline is the only thing that will carry you forward. Discipline acts as a bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Motivation may point the way, but discipline is the vehicle that gets you there. Discipline is not about avoiding enjoyment. It's about prioritizing long-term rewards over short-term comfort. It's about taking action when it's difficult, staying committed when it's inconvenient, and continuing when the initial excitement has faded. That is how real achievement is created. The compound effect of discipline. Discipline also compounds over time. One act of discipline may feel small, almost meaningless, but repeated over weeks, months, and years, it produces results that feel monumental. Motivation does not compound. It ignites, burns bright for a moment, and then vanishes. Discipline, however, builds strength, skill, and momentum that multiply over time. Writing 1 page per day turns into a book. Saving a small amount consistently grows into financial security. Practicing a skill for 10 minutes every day turns you into a master. In other words, motivation gives you a taste of what's possible, but discipline delivers what's achievable, the ultimate choice. Here's the choice. You can wait for motivation to strike, hoping inspiration will guide your life, or you can embrace discipline, choosing action even when excitement is absent. Motivation is temporary pleasure. Discipline is permanent progress. Motivation feels good today. Discipline feels great tomorrow. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is empowering. If you want to create a life of achievement, mastery, and fulfillment, you must understand this. Motivation is the spark that excites, but discipline is the engine that delivers results. One is fleeting, the other is eternal. Final thought: excitement may make you start, but discipline is what makes you finish. Motivation will carry you for a short distance, but discipline will carry you for a lifetime. To live a life of results, mastery, and lasting success, feed your discipline more than your motivation, and you will achieve far beyond what excitement alone could ever promise. Most people dream of changing their lives. They want more success, more health, more wealth, more happiness. They imagine dramatic breakthroughs, sudden opportunities, and miraculous transformations. Yet very few ever experience true change. Why? Because they fail to recognize the one principle that governs all lasting transformation. Your life is the sum of your daily routine. If you want to change the results you are getting, you must first change the actions that produce those results. And those actions are not occasional, they are daily. Your habits, your rituals, your decisions from moment to moment, they are the engine of your life. Change the engine and the destination changes. Keep the engine the same and the journey remains unchanged, no matter how much you wish or hope. The routine is the blueprint of your life. Your routine is more than just a schedule, it is a blueprint. It defines who you become, whether you notice it or not. If you wake up late, rush through your morning, skip exercise, eat poorly, procrastinate, and end the day exhausted, your routine is shaping you to live an unfulfilled, low-energy, inconsistent life. Conversely, if you wake early, move your body, feed your mind with knowledge, prioritize important tasks, and end the day reflecting on progress, your routine is shaping you into a disciplined, focused, and successful individual every day without fail. Your routine silently sculpts your character. Change the routine, and you change the person who is living that life. Change the person, and you change the results that person achieves. Small adjustments, big impact. The power of routine lies not in grand gestures, but in small adjustments made consistently. Changing your life is not about suddenly overhauling everything. It's about making small improvements in your daily rituals. Wake up 30 minutes earlier, read 10 pages a day, exercise for 15 minutes, plan your day intentionally, prioritize your most important work first. These small changes, repeated daily, compound into extraordinary results. Over weeks, months, and years, these micro adjustments reshape your life. The amazing part is that change is not a one-time event. It is a process. Your daily routine is the process, and consistency is the secret ingredient. Routines transform identity. Here's something most people don't realize. Changing your routine changes your identity. When you start a new routine, you are not just doing new actions. You are training yourself to become a different person. A person who wakes early, reads, moves, and takes consistent action becomes the kind of person who naturally attracts opportunity, confidence, and success. Your routines form the habits that define who you are. Your identity drives your results. Change the routine, and you change both. Discipline meets routine. This is where discipline becomes essential. Motivation will inspire you to start a new routine, but it will fade. Discipline is what keeps your routine alive when enthusiasm disappears. Discipline transforms action into habit, habit into character, and character into destiny. To change your life, you cannot rely on feeling motivated. You must commit to consistent, disciplined action within a structured routine. The ultimate truth, your dreams, goals, and ambitions are meaningless without a routine that supports them. A routine aligned with your values and priorities acts as a framework for success. It removes the need to rely on fleeting emotions or bursts of inspiration. It builds momentum, strengthens confidence, and produces results day after day, week after week. If you want a different life, start by looking at your daily routine. Change it, improve it, perfect it. One day, 1 week, 1 month at a time, your life will begin to transform quietly, steadily, and powerfully. Final thought, you don't need luck, you don't need inspiration, and you don't need dramatic breakthroughs. You need a routine that works. To change your life, change your routine, and you will change everything.